Most people think Aikido is soft, peaceful, gentle, a spiritual dance of wrist locks and smooth falls. But that illusion was fed to you on purpose. What they don't want you to know is this: Aikido was never meant to be a sport. It was never designed to score points or win medals. It was designed to end threats, quickly, brutally, without compromise. Yes, the modern version you see today, the kind allowed in demonstrations or watered-down dojos, has been declawed. But dig a little deeper into the old manuals, into the teachings of Morihei Ueshiba before the politics crept in, and you'll find something terrifying. Hidden techniques, joint destructions, internal organ trauma, bone breaks designed to cripple, not control. These techniques weren't banned because they didn't work. They were banned because they worked too well. Now ask yourself this: why would a martial art designed to protect you be censored? Why would entire sets of moves be erased from training? Why are instructors around the world told to never teach certain locks, throws, or counters unless they trust the student completely? Simple. Because these techniques don't just defend, they disable. Permanently. You see, in the real world on the battlefield, in the dark alley, or when you're outnumbered, there's no referee to save your opponent. No points to be earned. Just one rule: survive. And that's where these banned Aikido techniques come in. They were created for war, for real encounters where hesitation meant death. So don't be fooled by soft robes and quiet dojos. Underneath the calm is a storm. Aikido carries weapons hidden in plain sight. And today, we're revealing the 10 most dangerous ones banned from sport, forbidden in competitions, and powerful enough to change your view of Aikido forever. Are you ready to see what they tried to erase? Let's begin. 1. Kitan nage rotary throw. Combat variant. This isn't your friendly dojo version. In sport Aikido, Kitan nage is used with control, but the original form? It's surgical destruction. Here's how it works when executed correctly. Kitan nage takes your opponent's center and folds it. The throw isn't gentle. It twists the cervical spine as the body rotates mid-air, and in its original combat form, it's aimed to slam the attacker's head into the ground neck first. In the battlefield version, the practitioner adds downward torque during the throw, sending the attacker into the earth with spine-compacting force. The goal isn't a pin. The goal is to cause instant neural shutdown paralysis, unconsciousness, or worse. Why is it banned? Because it works too well. It weaponizes gravity, and in real fights, that can end someone's ability to walk forever. 2. KOT, Geishi wrist twist, bone shearing variant. You've seen Kote Geishi taught gently where the opponent rolls out, smiling. That version is an illusion. True Kote Geishi doesn't end with a roll, it ends with a snap. In the old school application, the technique isn't applied with finesse. It's cranked with full force torque against the wrist and elbow, against the joint line, while planting your foot behind the enemy's leg, so when they fall, their weight multiplies the destruction. This variant can shear ligaments, rupture tendons, and snap bones clean. In ancient texts, it was used to disable sword-wielding enemies instantly. In modern terms, it's banned because it takes seconds to turn an attacker into a hospital case. You think it's just a wrist twist? That's what they want you to believe. 3. Atemi to Shisho, strike to the nerve centers. This one isn't even officially taught anymore. Atemi to most is a quick distraction strike, but Shisho Atemi, that's pressure point targeting turned lethal. These are rapid, targeted blows to the carotid sinus, temple, base of skull, and even behind the jawline, places where blood flow, nerve conduction, or brain equilibrium are disrupted instantly. In its pure form, it's used to collapse the nervous system, knocking someone out, disorienting them, or causing cardiac risk if misapplied. Competitions banned it outright. Why? Because it doesn't look flashy, it looks like murder in slow motion. These strikes aren't meant to impress, they're meant to short-circuit your opponent's ability to move or think. In war, they saved lives. In sport, they were buried. 4. Irimi nage entering throw, skull snap variant. Irimi nage is often seen as a flowing, beautiful movement, one of Aikido's signature throws. But the original variation wasn't so kind. In the battlefield version, Irimi nage wasn't about flow, it was about decapitation by whiplash. The throw drives the opponent's neck sideways while simultaneously rotating the body, snapping the spine like a lever. It's a full-body torque designed to crush vertebrae through momentum. When applied without control, especially if the attacker is resisting, it doesn't just throw someone, it destroys their spine. Modern sport removed this variant entirely, but you'll still see glimpses of it, if you know where to look. 5. Inage, forward erection throw, joint lock variant. This one is a hidden execution tool, disguised as a soft throw. Shihonage seems harmless, but in its true form, it creates a brutal hyperextension of the elbow and shoulder by folding the arm behind the enemy's back and lifting upward in an angle the human body simply cannot withstand. Apply pressure here with speed, and the arm dislocates at the shoulder, tears at the bicep tendon, and even pops the clavicle out of alignment. Competitions require control in this movement, but back then, there was no control. There was only victory or death. 6. Tenchi Nage Heaven and Earth Throw Spinal Collapse Variant. This technique uses one arm to lift and the other to drop. In the original style, you slam your enemy downward while simultaneously lifting their upper body. It doesn't throw, it compresses the entire spine. The victim's back doesn't bend, it folds. Add a sudden downward pull, and you can rupture discs, tear ligaments, or induce complete spinal failure. Banned for one reason: it leaves the attacker twitching on the ground, unable to move. 7. UD Gourami Entangled Arm Lock Elbow Crush Variant. Known in Judo and MMA as the Kimura, but Aikido's ancient variation, way more destructive. Ude Gourami bends the arm backward at a sickening angle behind the back and up toward the neck. The old version doesn't wait for a tap. It tears through the rotator cuff, splits the labrum, and snaps the elbow backward like dry wood. There is no way to apply this softly in real combat. That's why it's not allowed in Aikido competitions. If done with full speed, it only ends two ways: unconsciousness or a destroyed arm. 8. Kooie Nage Neck Throw Whiplash Execution. Rarely shown, even more rarely taught. Kooie Nage uses the opponent's neck as the leverage point for the throw. Imagine pulling someone's neck downward while your hip launches them over. The neck doesn't twist, it tears. Applied without restraint, it can crush the windpipe or compress vertebrae with enough force to kill. In ancient war, it was used against armored opponents where strikes were useless. Aim for the neck, break their center. Now, it's completely banned, and for good reason. 9. Tsukiryu Rimi Entering Against a Thrust Sternum Break Variant. This technique targets incoming thrusts like knife attacks or straight punches. The modern version parries. The real version counter-strikes with full body weight into the attacker's chest. It's not a block, it's a shockwave. When delivered with proper hip rotation, it hits the sternum and drives the opponent's own ribs into their lungs or heart. You read that right. Internal bleeding, rib fractures, even cardiac arrest. That's why it's never demonstrated in full. Even practicing it risks serious injury. 10. Aiki Otoshi Aiki Drop Spinal Shutdown Variant. This is the most dangerous of them all. Aiki Otoshi doesn't throw, it drops. You seize your opponent's balance and collapse it vertically, driving their head or upper back into the ground, sometimes even using your knee to pin or accelerate the drop. This technique has been whispered about more than taught because it was designed to paralyze or kill. One clean drop and the attacker stops breathing. That's not hyperbole, it's biomechanics. It's no surprise this technique was erased from sport. A single mistake and the opponent never walks again. So, still think Aikido is just a dance in pajamas? Because now you've seen the side they never talk about. The part that was hidden, sanitized, scrubbed clean for public consumption. The truth is, Aikido was never meant to be soft. It was born for the battlefield, and it only pretends to be peaceful. But now, the real question is this: should these techniques stay banned, or should we bring them back? Are we protecting lives by keeping them buried? Or are we weakening the art by pretending they never existed? Drop your thoughts below. Was this knowledge too dangerous to share? Should modern Aikido students relearn the lethal side of their art? Or is it better that this power stays lost to history? And hey, if you've ever been told Aikido doesn't work in a real fight, just send them this video. They might change their mind. Or their spine. Catch you in the next one, unless you're banned too.